Have you ever held something in your hands and realized it was pointing somewhere you never expected? Not because it made a sound, not because anyone explained it, but because, somehow, it kept pulling your attention back. What if your life has been like that all along? What if the confusion, the delays, the closed doors, and even the silence you've been experiencing aren't random at all, but are quietly pointing you towards something you haven't noticed yet? Before you scroll away, stay with me for just a moment, because the object you're about to hear about has guided travelers through darkness for centuries. Yet very few people understand what it can teach the human heart. My beloved child, look at a compass. It does not panic when storms surround it. It does not argue with the wind. It simply keeps pointing in the direction it was created to follow. And perhaps that is why this moment found you today, not by accident, but because you've been asking for direction while staring at the storm instead of the compass. If these words are speaking to your heart, write, "I trust your direction," in the comments. Not because those words have power by themselves, but because they can be your own reminder to choose faith over fear as you continue listening. My beloved child, a compass is a simple object, small enough to fit in your hand, quiet enough that most people would ignore it. Yet when someone is lost in the middle of nowhere, when the road disappears, when every direction looks the same, that small compass suddenly becomes more valuable than anything else they carry. And maybe that is a lesson you needed to hear today, because there are seasons in life when you feel like you are standing in the middle of nowhere. You look around and you don't see the answer. You don't see the next step. You don't see the door opening. You only see questions. You ask yourself, why is this taking so long? Why did this opportunity disappear? Why did the path I planned suddenly change? My beloved child, you have been looking at the darkness around you, but you forgot something important. A compass does not need a clear sky to work. It does not stop pointing north because clouds cover the stars. It does not lose its purpose because the traveler feels afraid. And neither have you. There have been moments when you thought you were falling behind. Moments when you watched others move forward while you felt stuck in the same place. You saw other people receiving answers while you were still waiting. You saw other people celebrating while you were fighting silent battles nobody knew about. But what you could not see was that your direction was still being prepared. The compass does not reveal the entire journey. It only reveals the next direction. And sometimes, my child, that is all you need. You keep asking me to show you the whole road. You want to know every turn, every challenge, every destination. But if you saw everything at once, you might become overwhelmed by the distance. That is why guidance often comes one step at a time, like the traveler holding a compass in the middle of a dark forest. You don't need to see the entire forest. You only need enough light to take the next step. Think about the compass again. Inside that small instrument is a needle, a tiny piece of metal. Yet it responds to something greater than itself. It aligns with a force it cannot see. And that is a picture of faith. There are invisible things working around you, things you may not understand yet, connections you cannot see, lessons you cannot recognize, doors that are being prepared before you even reach them. Sometimes you think nothing is happening because you cannot see movement. But remember, a seed beneath the soil looks forgotten. A hidden root looks like nothing is growing. But underneath the surface, life is already beginning. Your waiting season is not always a wasted season. Your quiet season is not always an empty season. Some of the greatest transformations happen when nobody is watching. The compass teaches another powerful lesson. It does not change its direction to please the traveler. It does not say, everyone else is walking this way, so I should follow them. No. It stays true to where it was created to point. And maybe this is where many people lose their way. They stop listening to their inner guidance because they are comparing their journey with someone else's. They look at another person's timeline, another person's success, another person's blessing, and they start questioning their own path. But, my child, a compass does not compare itself with another compass. A mountain does not compare itself with another mountain. And your journey was never meant to look exactly like someone else's. The path I have prepared for you carries lessons that belong only to you. The delays you experienced, the doors that closed, The moments when you had to begin again, they were not proof that you were forgotten. They were moments that shaped your direction. Because sometimes the wrong road must close before the right road can appear. Sometimes you must lose what you were holding, so your hands can become free to receive what is waiting. Look again at the compass. The needle may shake when the traveler is moving. It may appear uncertain for a moment, but after the movement settles, it finds its direction again. And maybe that is you. Maybe you have been shaken. Maybe life has moved you in ways you never expected. Maybe your confidence has been tested. Maybe your heart has been tired from carrying questions for too long. But being shaken does not mean you are lost. It means you are searching for your true direction. So today, stop judging yourself by the storm around you. Stop believing that silence means absence. Stop thinking that waiting means nothing is happening. The same hand that created the compass also created the destination, and the same God who sees the beginning already knows the end. My beloved child, your story is not over. The path is still unfolding, and the next direction may be closer than you think. But before you continue this journey, there is one more secret hidden inside the compass. A secret that reveals why some people find their way even in the darkest moments, and why others become lost even when the road is clear. Stay with me, because the next lesson may change the way you see your entire journey. Part 3. My beloved child, there is something hidden inside every compass that most people never think about. They see the needle. They see the direction it points toward. They see it as a simple tool that helps someone find their way. But they rarely think about the most important part. The compass works because it has something inside that responds to a greater force.
The needle does not create its own direction. It does not fight to prove where it should go. It simply becomes still enough to recognize the direction it was designed to follow. And perhaps this is the lesson your heart has been trying to understand. Because sometimes the reason you feel lost is not because there is no direction. Sometimes it is because your heart has become surrounded by too much noise, too many opinions, too many fears, too many voices telling you which way you should walk. And in the middle of all that noise, you forget to become still. You forget to listen. My beloved child, think about a traveler holding a compass during a storm. The rain is falling. The wind is pushing against them. The path is difficult. Their clothes are heavy. Their strength is fading, but the compass remains in their hand. And even though the storm is loud, the compass is quiet. It does not scream. It does not force attention. It simply waits for the traveler to look down and notice. Sometimes, my child, your answer is not missing. Your direction is not gone. You have just been looking everywhere except the place where guidance has been quietly waiting.
You have searched through the opinions of people. You have searched through the approval of others. You have searched through things that promised happiness, but left you feeling empty. And after all that searching, your heart still returns to the same question. Where am I supposed to go? But maybe the deeper question is not, where is the path? Maybe the deeper question is, am I willing to trust the direction when I finally see it? Because knowing the way and having the courage to walk it are two different things. A compass can point toward the destination, but the traveler still has to take the first step. And many people remain standing in the same place, not because they have no direction, but because they are afraid of leaving what feels familiar. They hold on to old situations, old fears, old disappointments, old versions of themselves. They say, what if I fail? What if the road becomes harder? What if I lose something along the way? But my child, the traveler who refuses to move will never discover what exists beyond the place they are standing. A compass was never created to decorate a shelf.
It was created to guide someone through a journey. And you were not created to remain trapped in fear. You were created to grow, to learn, to become stronger through every season. Look closely at the compass needle. It does not point toward the easiest road. It points toward the correct direction. And sometimes the correct direction is not the comfortable direction.
Sometimes growth requires leaving behind things that once felt safe. Sometimes your next chapter requires closing a chapter you have been holding on to for too long. You may not understand why certain things ended. You may not understand why certain people walked away. You may not understand why some doors closed when you were praying for them to open. But a traveler does not throw away the compass because the road becomes difficult. The traveler understands the difficult road can still be the right road. There is another beautiful truth hidden inside the compass. The compass does not remove the mountains. It does not remove the valleys. It does not make the journey shorter. It simply gives the traveler confidence that they are not walking without direction. And maybe that is what you need today. Not a life without challenges, not a journey without obstacles, but the confidence that you are not walking alone. Because the hardest moments in life are often the moments when you question everything, when you are waiting, when you are uncertain, when you are standing between what was and what will be. That middle place can feel uncomfortable. It can feel like nothing is happening. But remember the compass. Before the traveler reaches the destination, there is always a journey. Before the answer arrives, there is always a season of waiting. Before the sunrise appears, there is always a moment when the night feels the darkest. Do not mistake the darkness for the end. The night does not mean the sun has disappeared forever. It only means a new morning is approaching. My child, there were moments when you thought you had lost your way. But what if those moments were actually teaching you how to recognize your true direction? What if every disappointment was removing a false path? What if every delay was protecting you from arriving somewhere you were never meant to stay? Sometimes protection looks like rejection. Sometimes preparation looks like waiting. Sometimes guidance looks like a door closing. The compass does not apologize for not pointing in every direction. It has one purpose, and maybe your life has one purpose too. You do not need to chase every road. You do not need to follow every voice. You do not need to become everything everyone else expects you to become. You only need to follow the direction that brings your heart closer to truth, peace, and purpose. So today, hold your invisible compass. Feel the weight of every lesson you have learned. Remember every storm you survived. Remember every moment you thought you could not continue, but somehow you did. You are stronger than the storms that tried to break you. You are wiser because of the roads you traveled, and you are still moving forward, even when you cannot see it. My beloved child, the compass has one more lesson to reveal. Because there is a difference between someone who carries a compass and someone who actually trusts it. Many people hold the answer in their hands, but fear prevents them from following it. In the next moment, I will show you the final secret of the compass, the secret that separates those who remain lost from those who finally discover their way. Stay with me, my beloved child. Many people carry a compass, but very few truly trust it. They hold it in their hands. They look at the needle. They see the direction it points toward. But when the road becomes difficult, when the path becomes unfamiliar, when fear becomes louder than faith, they stop moving. They begin questioning the compass. They begin asking, "Are you sure this is the right way? Why does this path look harder than the other ones? Why does everyone else seem to be taking an easier road?" And slowly, they stop following the direction that could have led them somewhere new. My beloved child, sometimes your greatest struggle is not finding the direction. Sometimes your greatest struggle is trusting the direction once it has been revealed. Because the human heart often wants certainty before it takes a step. You want to see the entire staircase before climbing. You want to know every answer before asking the question. You want guarantees before you begin. But a journey does not work that way. The traveler with a compass does not wait until every tree disappears from the forest. They do not demand to see the destination before taking the first step. They trust the small piece of guidance they have been given. One step, then another, and slowly the path begins to appear. My child, you have spent so much time worrying about the road ahead that you forgot to notice how far you have already traveled. Think about the moments you thought would destroy you, the days when your heart felt heavy, the nights when you wondered if anything would ever change, the seasons when you felt like you were walking alone, yet somehow you are still here.
You survived the storms you thought you could not survive. You crossed valleys you thought were too deep. You carried burdens you thought were too heavy. And every step brought you closer to becoming the person you were meant to become. The compass was never only about reaching a place. It was about becoming someone different during the journey. Because a traveler who walks through storms is not the same traveler who entered them. The storm teaches courage. The waiting teaches patience. The uncertainty teaches trust. And the journey teaches wisdom. My beloved child,
There is something else about a compass that you must understand. A compass does not remove the possibility of getting tired. The traveler can still become exhausted. The road can still be difficult. The weather can still change. But the compass gives something powerful: hope. Because when the traveler looks down and sees the needle pointing in the right direction, they remember, I am not wandering. I am moving. I am going somewhere. And maybe that is the reminder your heart needs today. Just because you are tired does not mean you are lost. Just because you are waiting does not mean nothing is happening. Just because the road is difficult does not mean you chose the wrong direction. Sometimes the hardest roads lead to the most beautiful destinations. A seed pushes through darkness before it reaches the sunlight. A diamond experiences pressure before it reveals its beauty. A person grows stronger through challenges they never wanted to face. And maybe your current season is not here to break you. Maybe it is here to prepare you. The compass does not tell the traveler, you will never face a storm. It tells the traveler,
Even in the storm, you can still find your way. My child, there were moments when you prayed for the path to become easier. You asked for the obstacles to disappear. You asked for the answers to arrive faster. But sometimes the greatest gift is not a shorter journey. Sometimes the greatest gift is becoming strong enough to complete the journey. Because if you arrive too quickly, you might reach the destination without the wisdom needed to appreciate it. The compass understands something that the traveler often forgets. Direction matters more than speed. A person moving slowly in the right direction is still making progress. A person running quickly in the wrong direction is only becoming more lost. Do not compare your speed with someone else's journey. Someone else's chapter is not your chapter. Someone else's timing is not your timing. Someone else's path is not your path. The compass in your hand was created for your journey, not theirs. My beloved child, stop measuring your life by what you can see. Some of the greatest movements happen beneath the surface. A tree grows roots before it grows branches. A foundation is built before a building rises.
and your life is being strengthened in ways you may not recognize yet. The silent moments, the waiting moments, the moments where you feel like nothing is changing. These moments may be preparing you for something greater than what you imagined. So when fear whispers, turn back. Remember the compass. When doubt says you are too far behind, remember the compass. When the road feels lonely, remember the compass. The direction has not disappeared. The purpose has not vanished. The journey is still continuing. My beloved child, there is one final mystery hidden within the compass, a mystery that explains why the compass can guide someone even when they cannot see the destination. A lesson about trust, a lesson about surrender, a lesson about believing in something greater than what your eyes can see. Because sometimes the greatest act of faith is not knowing where every step will lead, but choosing to take the next step anyway. Stay with me, because the final lesson of the compass is the one that transforms a lost traveler into someone who finally understands their true path. Part 5. My beloved child.
the final lesson of the compass is not about finding a destination. It is about learning to trust the journey. Because the truth is, a compass never promises the traveler that the road will always be easy. It never says there will be no storms. It never says there will be no moments of doubt. It never says the path will always look clear. But it gives the traveler something far more valuable: the confidence that they are not walking without direction. And perhaps that is what your heart has been searching for all this time. Not a life without challenges, not a journey without obstacles, but the peace of knowing that every step can still have meaning. My beloved child, Think about the traveler who enters a dark forest. The trees are tall, the shadows are deep. The sound of the wind makes the unknown feel even bigger. The traveler cannot see what is waiting ahead. They cannot see where the path will turn. They cannot see how far the journey will take them, but they hold the compass. And that small compass reminds them, keep going. Do not let the darkness convince you that there is no way forward. Do not let the unknown make you forget your direction.
And maybe that message is for you today, because there have been moments when your circumstances became louder than your faith. The problems became louder than the promises. The delays became louder than your dreams. You started looking at everything that was missing, instead of remembering everything that was guiding you. You looked at the closed doors. You looked at the unanswered questions. You looked at the things that did not happen the way you expected. But my child, a compass does not stop working because the traveler does not understand the road. The compass does not need the traveler's permission to point in the right direction. It simply remains faithful to its purpose. And sometimes, your greatest breakthrough begins when you stop fighting every unknown detail and start trusting the direction you have been given. There is a reason the compass needle is so small. It does not need to be big to be powerful. It does not need to make noise to be important. It does not need to prove itself to anyone. It simply does what it was created to do. And maybe you need to remember something about yourself. You do not have to constantly prove your worth.
You do not have to convince everyone of your purpose. You do not have to chase every voice that doubts you. A compass does not argue with someone who does not believe in its direction. It simply keeps pointing. And your purpose does not disappear because someone else cannot see it. My beloved child, there is another reason travelers trust a compass, because they understand something important. Their eyes can be deceived. A forest can look endless. A mountain can look impossible. A road can look like it leads nowhere. But the compass sees beyond what the eyes can see, and that is a powerful lesson, because your eyes only see the present moment. Your eyes see today's struggle, today's disappointment, today's uncertainty. But there are things beyond your sight. There are possibilities you have not discovered. There are connections you have not made. There are chapters you have not opened. There are blessings you have not reached yet. Do not make a permanent conclusion from a temporary season. A traveler does not throw away the compass because the road is difficult. They understand that difficulty is part of movement.
The hardest part of a journey is often the moment before the breakthrough. The darkest part of the night is often just before morning. The strongest roots grow during the seasons when the tree appears unchanged. And perhaps your life is growing in ways you cannot see. My child, have you ever noticed something about a compass? The compass does not carry the traveler. The traveler still has to walk. The compass provides direction, but the traveler provides the courage. And this is where many people stop. They wait for a sign. They wait for perfect conditions. They wait until they feel no fear. But courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is choosing to move even when fear is present. The traveler does not say, I will walk when I am no longer afraid. The traveler says, I will walk because I know my direction. And maybe today you are standing at the edge of a new chapter. Maybe something inside your heart is telling you that it is time to move forward, to release what has been holding you back, to stop carrying the weight of yesterday, to step into the direction that has been calling you. But a question remains. Will you trust the compass?
Will you trust the guidance even when the road looks unfamiliar? Will you continue walking even when nobody else understands your journey? Because every great journey begins with a single decision, the decision to take the next step. My beloved child, the compass also teaches us something about returning. Sometimes travelers make mistakes. Sometimes they take the wrong path. Sometimes they become distracted. Sometimes they walk away from the direction they were meant to follow. But a wise traveler does not give up. They do not say, I made a mistake, so my journey is over. No, they stop. They look at the compass again. They adjust their direction, and they continue. Remember this, a wrong turn does not mean the entire journey is ruined. A mistake does not erase your purpose. A delay does not cancel your destination. You can always return to the right direction. The compass is still there.
The guidance is still there. The path is still waiting. My beloved child, maybe you thought you were too far gone. Maybe you thought too much time had passed. Maybe you thought certain opportunities were lost forever. But the compass does not look at where the traveler has been.
It shows where the traveler can go next. Your past may have shaped you, but it does not have to define you. Your previous steps are not the end of your story. There are still roads you have not walked. There are still places you have not reached. There are still moments waiting for you. So hold your compass. Trust your direction. Keep moving, because the journey that felt confusing may have been preparing you for clarity. The silence that felt empty may have been preparing you for wisdom. The waiting that felt painful may have been preparing you for something greater. My beloved child, the compass has revealed many lessons, but there is one final moment left. One final truth that every traveler must understand, because after all the storms, after all the waiting, after all the searching, there comes a moment when the traveler finally looks back and realizes something incredible. The path was not only leading them somewhere, the path was also transforming them. Stay with me, because in the next part, you will discover the final message of the compass, the message that reveals why your entire journey mattered. Part 6. My beloved child.
After all the storms, after all the waiting, after all the moments when the traveler questioned the road, there comes a moment when they finally stop. They turn around, and they look at the path behind them. And something amazing happens. They realize the journey was never only about reaching the destination. The journey was changing them with every step. The same roads that once felt impossible had made them stronger. The same challenges they wanted to escape had built courage inside them. The same waiting seasons they thought were wasting their time had taught them patience they never knew they needed. And suddenly, the traveler understands something they could not see before. The compass was not only guiding their feet, it was shaping their heart. My beloved child, sometimes you ask why the road had to be so difficult, why certain doors had to close, why some plans did not happen the way you imagined, why you had to walk through seasons that tested your strength. But what if the difficult road was not there to destroy you? What if it was there to reveal who you truly are? A compass does not change the landscape.
It does not remove the mountains. It does not make the valleys disappear. But it gives the traveler the courage to continue through them. And maybe that is the hidden lesson you needed today. You were never promised a journey without challenges. You were promised the strength to keep moving through them. My child, look at the traveler one more time. At the beginning of the journey, they were afraid. Every sound in the forest created worry. Every shadow created doubt. Every unknown turn created fear. They held the compass, but they still wondered. Am I going the right way? Will I make it? Will I ever find where I belong? But step by step something changed. The forest was still there. The mountains were still there. The road was still difficult. But the traveler was different. The same person who once feared the journey now trusted it. The same person who once needed every answer now understood the power of faith. The same person who once looked for signs everywhere now carried peace within. And that is the transformation of a true journey. The destination changes your location, but the journey changes who you become. My beloved child.
There is another beautiful truth hidden inside the compass. A compass always points toward direction, but it does not force the traveler to follow. The traveler still has a choice. They can ignore it. They can walk another way. They can follow the crowd. They can choose the easier road. But the compass remains faithful. It continues pointing. And this teaches something powerful. Guidance can be offered, but the decision to follow belongs to you. Every day, you are standing at a crossroads. You choose whether fear leads you or faith leads you. You choose whether your past controls you or your purpose guides you. You choose whether you remain where you are or take the next step towards something greater. My child, do not underestimate the power of one step. A traveler does not cross an entire continent in one moment. They do it step by step. A person does not build a great life in one day. They build it through countless small choices. A dream does not become reality overnight. It becomes reality through consistency. patience, and belief. The compass teaches us that direction matters, not how fast you move, not how impressive your journey looks to others.
Not how many people are watching, only that you continue moving toward what is true. My beloved child,